Good morning, everyone. Trading Cat here for Daily Market Insights. Reasonably quick one today because other than Nvidia earnings and the Fed minutes tonight, there's not much going on in markets, but I just want to talk through a few things and give you an idea of what I'm looking at today. So to me, the big thing that's interesting today is yesterday I talked about all the reasons why yield at the 10-year level should be running higher, and this is playing out. Yesterday we're down here, and now we're sort of shooting up. And to me, this looks like quite a bullish sort of setup. We've clearly broken out of this support. And, a lot of this will hinge on what is said in the Fed minutes, although it's important to remember with the Fed minutes that they typically tend to be rewritten after the meeting to convey a message through forward guidance rather than being an actual account of what was said in the meeting. So the important thing to note is yields are higher in the US and also generally across the board. You can see down here yields are running higher. And I expect this to continue. Given we're coming into the full moon, I also suspect we might start to see some volatility in the coming days. With that will become a stronger US dollar, and this trend that we've had higher in currencies will probably have a temporary pullback. So let's discuss this further. So a bit of a nothing day in the S&P 500 yesterday, just sort of doodling along sideways, which is what we alluded to yesterday when I sort of said this is, we might get an up or down by 10 or 20 basis points, but at any time we run the risk of a large down move. So, this is a difficult market because neither the bulls or the bears are really participating. Speculative bulls don't want to buy when the price is right at the top of the screen, and speculative bears generally don't want to bet against such a strong trend. So everyone's sitting on their hands and there's very little volatility. Having said that, the market realizes the Fed minutes are tonight, so we are starting to see in the VIX, a return of volatility here. So, there's this sudden jump here. So looking at the currencies, as I said before, there we are in an uptrend. However, I think with the rising yields, stronger US dollar, and full moon effects, we're likely to start seeing some pullback in these. I wouldn't be surprised for this sort of to come down, test this area here before continuing higher. So that's a reasonably quick wrap up. Also, because the dollar's stronger owing to high yields, precious metals have been knocked back a bit. I'd look to be a buyer, if we sort of see this area, if we move into this area, it attracts the bears and then we squeeze them out higher. So this may well be the fuel, by catching some bears in around here to squeeze them higher out of there. Of course, this is all guesswork. It may actually be that this is the top and we just go straight down from here. But, there's a reasonably strong trend here. And, I think normally where you've got a trend, it usually makes sense to assume the trend will continue until it doesn't. And at the moment, we're still in an uptrend. So in terms of key events today, we've got, looking at yesterday, Canadian inflation came in a little bit soft, and New Zealand basically came in with no change as expected. British CPI was a little bit hot this morning, which is also, we can see that in the pound chart for the pound. And today, of course, we've got the FOMC minutes and Nvidia. And Nvidia's gains account for a lot of the excess returns in the stock market. So, this is a stock that's been repeatedly beating on earnings over the past year or two, and it's very much the market darling. And, if this misses or even comes in line with expectation, but the market expected more, we might see this starts to move the S&P 500 lower. So in terms of this full moon and low volatility and waiting for something to happen, with yield starting to rise, if we got sort of a miss in Nvidia and the FOMC came in more hawkish than expected in its minutes, we might actually see this starts to precipitate a bit of a down move and change of trend. in markets, and specifically that would mean stronger dollar, higher yields, stock market down. Anyhow, this is all a little bit hazy to me. I'm just working off my best efforts. For me, I'm quite happy to sort of play it small today. I will probably just be trading small contracts of 0 day to expiry options, just scalping. That's normally what I do to pass the time when there's nothing exciting happening in terms of markets otherwise. So, finishing up to today, this is not trade recommendations. I'm not responsible for your losses. It's entertainment, not advice. And remember to enjoy the journey. This has been the Trading Cat, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully a little bit earlier as well.